In this episode, we cover Mrs. Fannie Lou Townsend Hamer, who questioned the morality of America.
I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off of the hook because our lives be threatened daily, because we want to live as decent human beings in America?
Welcome to the Black Boss Ladies platform, a place where women can gain inspiration for their journey to success through the powerful experiences of successful Black businesswomen, past and present. These women are redefining leveling up by creating legacies in their own time. Are you ready to do the same? Join a discussion on the BBL platform, the place where legacies live.
In this vignette, we will cover one of the fiercest Black boss ladies in history, Mrs. Fannie Lou Townsend Hamer. Hamer, a woman of resilience and activism, emerged from the humblest of beginnings in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. Born on October 6, 1917, she was the 20th and last child of Luella and James Townsend, sharecroppers scraping by in the unforgiving grip of poverty created by the Jim Crow South. Hamer's childhood was defined by the harsh labor of cotton picking, a grueling task she began at the tender age of 6, and by 12, she had left school for field work. However, her father did not give up. Hamer said, "My family would pick 56 bales of cotton a year, so my father decided to rent some land, buy some mules, and a cultivator. We were doing pretty well. He even started fixing up the house real nice and bought a car. Then, this white man poisoned our stock. We knew he did it. When we got out there, one mule was dead. The other 2 mules and the cow had stomachs all swelled up. It was too late to save him. That poisoning knocked us right back down flat. We never did get back up again. That white man did it just because we were getting somewhere. White people never like to see Negroes get a little success. All of this stuff is no secret in the state of Mississippi." In 1944, Fannie Lou married Perry Hamer, and together they worked as sharecroppers on B.D. Marlowe's Mississippi plantation until 1962. Ms. Hamer's ability to read and write, unlike most other sharecroppers, made her indispensable as the plantation's timekeeper. It was during this time that she experienced a heinous violation of her rights. Prior to conceiving any children, a white doctor, during surgery for a uterine tumor, performed a hysterectomy on her without her consent. This forced sterilization, referred to as a Mississippi appendectomy, was used regularly to keep the Black population down, and is just one example of the systematic racism of the era. The Hamers ultimately adopted 2 daughters because they were unable to have children of their own. Hamer worked as a sharecropper for much of her life. It was only in her 40s, while attending a mass meeting at a local church, that she first became aware that Black people had been granted voting rights by the U.S. Constitution. She said, "I had never heard until 1962 that Black people could register and vote. This was almost 100 years after the passing of the 15th Amendment and is a testament to white supremacist efforts after Reconstruction to deny Blacks the right to vote through lack of knowledge, intimidation, and outright violence, just like current-day practices." Ms. Hamer's transformation into an indomitable civil rights icon began in the 1960s when she attended a meeting led by activists James Foreman and James Bevel. There, her righteous indignation flared as she witnessed the relentless efforts to deny Black people the right to vote. Joining the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, she led 17 volunteers to register to vote at the Indianola Courthouse on August 31, 1962. Despite their bravery, they were denied the right to vote due to an unjust literacy test and were harassed by white police officers on their way home. That night, Marlowe fired Mrs. Hamer for her attempt to vote. On the incident, she said,
Reverend Jeff Sonny carried me 4 miles in the rural area where I had worked as a timekeeper and sharecropper for 18 years. I was met there by my children that told me the plantation owner was angry because I had gone down, tried to register. After they told me, my husband came and said the plantation owner was raising Cain because I had tried to register. And before he quit talking, the plantation owner came and said, Fannie Lou, do you know, did Pap tell you what I said? And I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I mean that, said if you don't go down and withdraw your registration, you will have to leave. Said then if you go down and withdraw, that you still might have to go because we're not ready for that in Mississippi. And I addressed him and told him that I didn't try to register for you. I tried to register for myself. I had to leave that same night.
Though she was forced to leave, her husband was compelled to stay until the harvest, leaving the couple with meager possessions. Undaunted, they moved to Ruleville, Mississippi, with scarcely anything to their name. In June 1963, after successfully completing a voter registration program in Charleston, South Carolina, Hamer and several black women were arrested for challenging segregation at a whites-only bus station restaurant in Winona, Mississippi. Brutally beaten in the Winona jailhouse, Mrs. Hamer suffered lifelong injuries from a blood clot in her eye, kidney damage, and leg damage. In 1964, Hamer co-founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, MFDP, challenging the local Democratic Party's discriminatory practices. Hamer and the MFDP members journeyed to the Democratic National Convention, demanding recognition as the official delegation. President Lyndon B. Johnson orchestrated a televised press conference to divert attention from Hamer's impassioned speech before the Credentials Committee, where she called for integrated state delegations. Despite the attempt to silence her, her powerful words describing the racial prejudice in the South resonated with the nation. She said,
I was carried to the county jail. I was placed in a cell with a young woman called Miss Sylvester Simpson. After I was placed in the cell, I began to hear sounds of licks and screams. I could hear the sounds of licks and horrible screams. And I could hear somebody say, can you say yes, sir, nigga? Can you say yes, sir? And they would say other horrible names. She would say, yes, I can say yes, sir. So I said, she said, I don't know you well enough. They beat her, I don't know how long. And after a while, she began to pray and ask God to have mercy on those people. And it wasn't too long before 3 white men came to my cell. And he said, we're going to make you wish you was dead. I was carried out of that cell into another cell where they had 2 Negro prisoners. The state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro to take the blackjack. The first Negro prisoner ordered me, by orders from the state highway patrolman, for me to lay down on a bunk bed on my face. And I laid on my face. The first Negro began to beat. And I was beat by the first Negro until he was exhausted. I was holding my hands behind me at that time on my left side because I suffered from polio when I was 6 years old. After the first Negro had beat until he was exhausted, the state highway patrolman ordered the second Negro to take the blackjack. The second Negro began to beat and I began to work my feet. And the state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro had beat to sit on my feet. To keep me from working my feet, I began to scream and one white man got up and began to beat me in my head and tell me to hush. One white man, my dress had worked up high. He walked over and pulled my dress. I pulled my dress down and he pulled my dress back up. I was in jail when Medgar Evers was murdered. All of this is on account of we want to register to become first-class citizens.
By 1968, her vision for racial parity in delegations became a reality. She became a member of Mississippi's first integrated delegation. In 1964, Hamer played a pivotal role in organizing Freedom Summer, bringing hundreds of college students, black and white, to aid African-American voters' registration in the segregated South. In an effort to show black people that they could run for office, she announced her candidacy for the Mississippi House of Representatives in 1964. She stated in an interview about the exploitation of blacks in Mississippi, "All my life, I've been sick and tired. Now, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." In other words, it was past the time of complaining. It was time to do something. I think we all have reached that point in our life before. Hamer is saying to us, you can make a change. You just have to decide to do it. Unfortunately, she was unjustly barred from the ballot. She didn't let this stop her efforts, though. A year later, Fannie Lou Hamer, alongside Victoria Gray and Annie Devine, became the first black women to stand in the U.S. Congress when they protested the Mississippi House election of 1964. Her tireless advocacy extended beyond her home state as she traveled extensively, delivering impassioned speeches on civil rights. Growing frustrated with the political process, Fannie Lou turned her attention to economics as a means of achieving greater racial equality. In 1968, she initiated a pig bank providing free pigs for black farmers to raise and breed. The following year, she launched the Freedom Farm Cooperative, FFC, purchasing land for collective farming and other enterprises. Supported by donors like Harry Belafonte, she purchased 640 acres and established a co-op store, boutique, and a sewing enterprise. Her efforts also resulted in the construction of 200 units of low-income housing, many of which still stand in Ruleville today. In 1971, Mrs. Hamer played a key role in founding the National Women's Political Caucus. The FFC became a significant employer in Sunflower County until it eventually folded due to Hamer's extensive travel, failing health, and financial challenges. Tragically, in 1977, Fannie Lou Hamer succumbed to breast cancer at the age of 59. Her fearless activism, remarkable resilience, and enduring message serve as an eternal reminder that you don't have to have a college degree, be famous, or have money to change the world. You only have to be willing to act. Fannie Lou Hamer's life story is a testament to the enduring power of determination and the transformative potential of one individual's unwavering dedication to change. Fannie Lou Townsend Hamer is truly a Black Boss Lady, and her legacy will live on the Black Boss Ladies Platform podcast.
Thank you for joining us on the BBL Platform podcast, the place where legacies live. We hope you will join us on our next inspirational journey to success. Be sure to rate, like, and subscribe to our show. For more information, please visit our website at theBBLplatform.com.